Premiere to Mrs. Miniver. The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation presents Premiere to Mrs. Miniver, an unusual half hour of radio entertainment in which you will hear your next-door neighbors, some of the characters from the great motion picture Mrs. Miniver, which opens for the first time in Canada tonight, and the voices of Greer Garson, lovely star of the picture, and G. Herbert Lash, Canada's Director of Public Information, who has called the picture one of the most significant films of our time. Premiere to Mrs. Miniver.
Dad, can I go to a show tonight?
Well, it all depends, son. What is it you want to see?
Well, I read in the paper that Mrs. Miniver is one of the swellest pictures ever, and I wanted to see it.
Mrs. Miniver? Why, one of the girls at the Red Cross was talking about that today. She said Greer Garson was wonderful.
It seems to me one of the men at the air raid warden's meeting last night said something about it, too.
Well, can I go, Dad? Can I?
Well, wait till I look it up in the paper here, Bobby, and then we'll see.
Where's it on, dear?
Just a minute, dear. Oh, yes. Yes, here we are. Oh, it's the Canadian premiere tonight. Big affair. Funny name, that, you know.
Mrs. Miniver, Mrs. Miniver, Mrs. Miniver.
All right, you said it 3 times.
All right.
Can I go, Dad?
I'm just thinking, Bob, whether it wouldn't be kind of nice for us all to go. What's interesting to me...
Oh, darling, that's the best idea you've had in a week. Oh, but I really shouldn't leave the dishes.
Mrs. Miniver. Intrigues me. Rather an interesting name, isn't it?
I wonder what she's like.
I wonder why everyone's talking about that picture.
Mrs. Miniver, Mrs. Miniver, Mrs. Miniver, Mrs. Miniver.
I know you'll excuse me for butting in, but I couldn't help overhearing the conversation, and I think I can help you people. I've seen Mrs. Miniver, and what's more, I've some people here who can tell you more about her than anyone else. So you'd like to know what Mrs. Miniver is about, eh? Well, it's a story about plain English people, plain as you and I, and the Thompson family who are just wondering what the show's all about. It's full of everyday folks, the kind you meet in any village or town, your kind. Mr. and Mrs. Miniver live in a little village in the Thames with their kids, Vincent, who's just on holiday from college, and Judy and Toby, their younger children. Then there's Lady Belden, who owns the manor house nearby, and her granddaughter, Carol, who falls in love with Vin Miniver. There's old James Ballard, the station master and bell ringer in the village church. There's Mr. Foley, the corner grocer who turns air raid warden for the village, and many others you'll love. Would you like to hear some of them? Let's listen to Mr. Miniver for a minute. Hello, Clem. Would you like to tell the folks something about Mrs. Miniver?
Hello, everyone. This is Clem Miniver speaking. I'm the father of the family everyone's talking about. I'm quite an ordinary sort of person, really. Kind of person who doesn't think much about war until it hits them. We Minivers live in a quiet English village where the main concern of life was bringing up our little family and, well, what I suppose you'd call the pursuit of happiness. I know we were happy. Very happy. Until the Germans brought war to our land and to our little village. Then things began to happen. First, my son went off into the Air Force, a lad in his first year at Oxford. Then I had my own taste of this war. Dunkirk. I shall never forget it. 5 days of a hell on earth so different from life as we knew it that nothing that has happened since can erase the memory of it. You know, I was rather proud of myself. Middle-aged man, out of condition, out of touch with war. I tell you, it was a fair bit of navigation for me and my little boat. But it wasn't only me. There were hundreds, thousands of us that night we were first told to bring our ships down to the sea. I'm only an ordinary fellow going along peacefully until I was disturbed by Hitler. But all of us got together. And we're fighting Hitler together. Because we know we'll never have real happiness again until we've won this war. Well, come and see us in the film, won't you? I'd like you to see that bit of navigation I told you about.
Thank you, Clem. Next, I'm going to introduce to you a grand old lady, the one who lives in the manor house over the hill. She's an aristocrat, but a real one. Come along in, Lady Belden, and say a word or two.
I'm Lady Belden, and I don't know whether I'm entirely proud of it or not. I mean by that at the beginning of the picture, Mrs. Miniver, I'm a rather disagreeable old diehard. But the war has changed Lady Belden a lot. And the change has been good for Lady Belden. It has shown her that we are all equal when it comes to fighting bullies like Hitler. The war has leveled us all. Today's Ladies Beldens are fighting Hitler just as much as the village station master and the village grocer. It's a people's war. And we've come out of our ancestral halls into the market square of the people. Out from our manor houses and up, mind you, into the high road where the people's army is marching slowly but surely up the steep hill to victory.
Thanks a lot, Lady Belden. I think you've given us a pretty clear picture of how Britain's aristocracy has turned too. And the little people, the backbone of Britain, have come across too. Now, we'll take Mr. Foley, the village air raid warden who's the corner grocer in ordinary times. Come in, Mr. Foley. Tell the folks about yourself.
Well, I suppose you might say I represent the ordinary working man in this here picture, Mrs. Miniver. I'm the village grocer and the air raid warden. And believe me, when them Jerrys started coming over thick and fast, I had me work cut out for me, I did. What with looking after me shop and running about watching to see the folks weren't showing no lights and whatnot. But I'm not patting myself on the back. We were all working our heads off as ordinary folk in that village. And it's common folk like us all over the world that has to work our heads off till Mr. Hitler's had enough of it. In Canada now, well, you haven't had no air raids and that sort of thing. And believe me, mates, you don't want any either. Well, the best way to stop them coming over your way is to put your shoulder to the wheel right now. Yes, if we're to beat this Hitler, we've all got to join together, rich man, poor man, beggar man. Because there's one thing that's right important. Every one of us stands to lose if we lose this war. And that's our freedom.
Thank you, Mr. Foley. And now I'd like you to meet a charming young lady who will win her way right into your hearts.
I'm Carol Belden, Lady Belden's granddaughter. In the picture, Mrs. Miniver, I marry Vin Miniver just after he joins the RAF.
And tonight I think I'd like to say a few words to the thousands of girls whose husbands or sweethearts are now fighting in some branch of the forces. I knew that someday I might lose him, that he might be killed any day, any hour. It takes courage to give up someone you love dearly, but it's being done every hour of every day of every month, and it will have to be done till peace has come again. This, then, is our contribution to victory. The parting from someone we love, knowing we may not see them again. If they don't come back, it's a costly sacrifice we've made for the cause of freedom, but a sacrifice that's small beside theirs, giving all they had to give, their life. And so, let's just remember what the poet said. For what avail the plow or sail, or land or life, if freedom fail? I know that's the way Vin feels, and that's why I love him so and always will.
Thank you, Carol Belden. And now, how would you like to meet Mrs. Miniver? You probably wondered why we didn't ask her to speak first. Well, you see, we were saving her because she has a very important message. But let Greer Garson herself tell you about that, speaking to you in the character of Mrs. Miniver.
I am Mrs. Miniver. I am the Mrs. Miniver who bought an expensive hat in those light-hearted days before the war. And when war came, left it lying unused in its box. I am the Mrs. Miniver who was afraid of even little things. Yet I captured an escaped German aviator who came to my kitchen. I am the Mrs. Miniver who hated the very thought of war. Yet when war came, somehow I didn't have time to be afraid. It was the same with all the women around me. War came out of the skies to our village and took its place as something we had to deal with in our daily living. Maybe I shouldn't say we weren't afraid. I suppose we were, really. But I think we were more angry than afraid, and our anger found its outlet in action. Here in Canada, I'm sure you'd feel the same way if war came to you, as it did to unhappy Holland and Belgium and Norway and Greece. Thank God there are no German Stukas dive-bombing your town. At least, not yet. And no machine guns strafing your streets. Not one enemy tank has ever set the mark of its tread in your soil. No Panzer divisions have ever rattled up to your city halls and proclaimed you slaves. You are free people, yes. And that is all the more reason why you should be fighting now to stay free. Oh, it's a different kind of fighting you and all of us are being asked to do here on the home front. It means fighting our desire for luxuries and fine living. It means learning to sacrifice many of the things we took for granted in peacetime and doing it gracefully. It means bending every effort to support our fighting men in the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. It means all this and more. And I think that when you see the picture, Mrs. Miniver, you'll realize how much we don't have to sacrifice compared with the people of Britain, who with miraculous courage have turned from the pursuits of peace to the grim business of making war. And now, may I please be Greer Garson for just a moment or two? I've been speaking to you as Mrs. Miniver, but now I want to be, well, just me. And I want to say this. Mrs. Miniver is not one woman. She doesn't live just in an English village. Her husband's name is not always Clem. Mrs. Miniver is the name of every woman. Of every woman in Canada. Every woman in every freedom-loving country who is shouldering her responsibility and is doing her part in the crusade against evil. She lives in every house of every city, town, and village of every country fighting Hitler. Her husband's name is John, and Jim and Tom and Harry and Joe and 1,000 other names. Mrs. Miniver is everywhere where freedom is, and where freedom will remain, because of the Mrs. Minivers and their menfolk and their children, their friends and their neighbors, and all the splendid people of Mrs. Miniver's community. That is, of your community. Yes, as you'll realize when you see this motion picture, this is the people's war. That means you, and you, and you, and you.
Thank you, Greer Garson, and thank you, Mrs. Miniver. Well, you wanted to hear what Mrs. Miniver was about, and I hope we've told you. You've heard from some of the characters in the picture, and from Greer Garson, the star, as Mrs. Miniver herself. I know you'll pardon me butting in on you all like this, but when I heard you talking about the picture, I just couldn't resist telling you. It's a great picture, Mrs. Miniver. Mrs. Miniver. Mrs. Miniver. Mrs. Miniver.
Mrs. Miniver.
Please, Dad,
Mrs.
can't I go?
Miniver.
Bobby, we're all
Mrs.
going.
Miniver.
I want to see Greer Garson. I guess your mother wouldn't mind a look at Walter Pigeon. He plays Mr. Miniver. Comes from St. John, New Brunswick, you know.
Yes, dear. Well, Walter Pigeon or no Walter Pigeon, I really want to see it.
Well, thank goodness you made up your minds at last. Let's get going.
All right, then, Jeannie, you run upstairs
All right,
now and
well,
put on
I
your pink
thought
dress.
I'd better get
Bobby, you'd better comb that hair of yours.
Oh,
my
gee,
lad, it looks as though a comb had never been through it. Come along now, come along.
Well, the Thompsons are no sooner out of the house than here I am back again. And what a surprise I've got for you now. While the folks are away at the picture, I'm going to bring you a message from Canada's Director of Public Information, Mr. Herbert Lash. Mr. Lash has already been to see Mrs. Miniver himself, and listen to what he's got to say about it. Come in, Mr. Lash. All Canada is listening to you.
In this war, which has taken such a grim, foreboding turn these past few weeks, much emphasis has been laid upon the production of tools and weapons and munitions, as if these things by themselves are all that is necessary to bring us victory. Important as are tools and weapons and munitions, they are not by themselves enough to let us win. Victory will spring not from the muscles and the materials of men, but from the hearts of men. To win, we must believe. We must believe and behave with unconquerable, savage faith in the things for which we are fighting. To win, we must be eagerly willing to serve and to suffer, beyond all measure and beyond all cost, in the consciousness of that faith. Tears there will be aplenty in this land of ours before we have won this fight, and blood and suffering. Those of us who have not learned it yet will soon learn it, that the profundities of economics and the complexities of society have resolved themselves into one simple equation: freedom. Nothing else in all this world now matters except that. In the picture Mrs. Miniver, whose Canadian premiere we are observing tonight, there is an urgent and immediate message for every man, woman, and child who loves this land of ours and who cherishes our heritage of freedom. For it is the simple story of a people who, through danger and devastation, death and desolation, found the courage and devotion and faith which neither tanks nor bombs, nor shells nor time can conquer or kill. It may yet have to be your story and mine.
Thank you, Mr. Lash. Well, let's see if we can't catch the Thompsons coming out of the theater now, just after they've seen Mrs. Miniver. Here we are.
Holy smoke, Pop. I didn't know it was going to be as good as that.
Pretty fine show, wasn't it, Bob? Did you like the airplanes?
Oh, you bet, but there was a lot more than that in the picture.
It was a lot more than ever you realized, I guess, son. A lot of things that hadn't struck me before. You know, John, it seems a silly thing to say, but Mr. Miniver reminded me an awful lot of you at times.
Not so silly as it might be, dear. You aren't so far from being a Mrs. Miniver yourself.
Oh, don't be ridiculous, darling. I'm no Greer Garson.
Don't be ridiculous yourself, Mom. Why do you think Daddy married you?
Well, John, that's one for you to answer.
Well, I think I married your mother because she's just about as close to a Mrs. Miniver as I could get. Your mother would be just as wonderful if she went through the same things.
She made me want to be like her, dear, anyway. Especially about Vin. Remember their son in the Air Force? She made me want to feel the way she did. The way I hope I can about our son.
I'll soon be as old as Vin was, Mom, and I'm going in the Air Force.
Well, you wait a while, Bob, until you get there.
Yeah, always trying to show off your age.
All right. You think you were as old as Carol Belden in the show.
Well, I will be soon, too. Wasn't she lovely, Mom?
Yes, dear.
If I'd been Vin, I'd have been in love with her, too.
Yeah, you don't even know what love means, mush.
I got a great kick out of the old lady, you know. What spunk she had. Oh, great old girl. You know, I hate to think of it, but I cried at that flower show.
Gee whiz, Pop, that's awful.
Oh, don't let that worry you, Bobby. I saw you fall there laughing, fit to kill more than once.
I cried some, Mummy, but I laughed a lot, too.
Yes, I think we all did, dear. You know, that's why it's such a wonderful picture. There was something in it for each of us. And the Minivers were so like us. I mean, even if they were English, they seemed just like us Canadians.
Yes. You know, I hope that if, God forbid, we have to face that kind of thing, we'll act the same way as the Miniver family did. And I hope that meanwhile we'll all try to do a lot more than we have been doing. That's really the point of the picture, you know. It's our war, each of us. Do you remember the speech the vicar made at the end, speaking in the little wrecked church with the open sky overhead? I'll never forget it.
We, in this quiet corner of England, have suffered the loss of friends very dear to us. Some close to this church. George West, choir boy. James Ballard, station master and bell ringer. And the proud winner, only an hour before his death, of the Belden Cup for his beautiful Miniver Rose. And our hearts go out in sympathy for the two families who share the cruel loss of a young girl who was married at this altar only 2 weeks ago. The homes of many of us have been destroyed, and the lives of young and old have been taken. There's scarcely a household that hasn't been struck to the heart. And why? Surely you must have asked yourselves this question. Why, in all conscience, should these be the ones to suffer? Children, old people, a young girl at the height of her loveliness. Why these? Are these our soldiers? Are these our fighters? Why should they be sacrificed? I shall tell you why. Because this is not only a war of soldiers in uniform. It is a war of the people, of all the people. And it must be fought not only on the battlefield, but in the cities and in the villages, in the factories and on the farms, in the home and in the heart of every man, woman, and child who loves freedom. Well, we have buried our dead, but we shall not forget them. Instead, they will inspire us with an unbreakable determination to free ourselves and those who come after us from the tyranny and terror that threaten to strike us down. This is the people's war. It is our war. We are the fighters. Fight it then. Fight it with all that is in us. And may God defend the right.
This is the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation.